Ladies and gentlemen, Violent Games here. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 reasons I hate Junkrat. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a controversial video. You might be triggered. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, all my little special snowflakes. I'm sorry I have to expose you to this. But I've had a really bad time with this hero, so I do kind of want to go into a little bit of like a prerequisite story, if those words make any fucking sense in the same sentence. I just want to explain myself. So I've been trying to make a Junkrat guide for about 4 to 5 weeks, so basically a month. And I've had the worst time I've ever had playing this game trying to get good with this character. It has been absolutely fucking agonizing to play Junkrat. And I'm going to go into the top 5 reasons why I dislike Junkrat. But I also want to tell you I know your fingers are going frantic on the fucking keyboard right now. You can't fucking help yourself. I'm sorry about that. But I want to go ahead and say that I do not hate Junkrat as a hero. I hate playing Junkrat. That's the difference. I just don't like playing him, and I'm going to give you my reasons why, and a lot of it has to deal with my preferred playstyle. So try not to get too super offended. I know we're an outrage culture now. We just like getting pissed off just because it's fun at this point. So I understand that some of my keyboard warriors want to defend their junkers. I get it. But you won't need to. And I also have an announcement at the end of the video that is going to shed some light on why that is. So, reason number why I don't like Junkrat. He has no gun. Junkrat has no gun to speak of, and when it comes to me and my playstyle, if you know anything about the way I like to play video games in general, I like more precision aiming characters. That's why I'm very fond of Widowmaker. I like Tracer in this game because she has hit scan weaponry, and I love hit scan because it's very reliable, consistent DPS that relies more on my accuracy. And, you know, I also like Ana Amari, who's also a sniper. Again, similar mechanics behind her and Widowmaker. So basically, I'm more of a precision-oriented character. I like guns over explosive ordnance and lobbed projectiles. Like, I really just don't like Junkrat's lobbed projectile. It's more of an anecdote than anything, but I think it needed to be included on this list. Number 2. His DPS is massively inconsistent. Now, there are multiple reasons for why I believe Junkrat's DPS is massively inconsistent, especially on the console ports of the game where accuracy is always kind of an issue and we have less sensitivities to kind of work with. But one of the reasons is that he only has an ammo reserve of 5 rounds. On top of this, the blast radius of each of those grenades that comes out of his primary weapon have a 2-meter radius explosion, which is not big at all. In fact, it's actually really fucking small for a grenade. And on top of this, the projectile itself, the grenade that comes out of the grenade launcher, is an extremely slow projectile. And what this means is at range, enemies can easily sidestep Junkrat's grenades, and the sound cue for them is very, very, very consistently easy to hear. Gosh, my English right now. Very, very easy to see. It's very telegraphed. It's like, punk, punk, punk. And speaking of that sound cue that I just made with my mouth, it shows his rate of fire. His rate of fire is actually very slow on top of all of this. So you have a very inconsistent grenade. You have to reload it after every 5 shots, and it takes forever to get your grenades out of your goddamn launcher. That all equates to random DPS versus precision DPS. And again, I fucking hate that. I can't stand it. Now, granted, you can catch someone in a trap and do massive amounts of DPS, and sometimes when you're up close, sometimes with a tank at your back, like say they're turned around, or you're at their back rather, you can get off a lot of DPS, and it's shocking. Like, when you get Junkrat's maximum DPS off, like at point blank range, you feel like a badass, but Reaper does better DPS anyhow. So, like, why would you use Junkrat for that reason? So, I don't know, it just seems weird to me. So he has a low blast radius, terrible ammo reserve, slow projectiles, and a low fire rate. It's not looking good for Junkrat's consistency as far as his DPS is concerned. Reason number 3, he's the worst hero in regards to spacing in Overwatch, period. Sorry, my roommates are having a stroll. But he's the worst hero in regards to spacing in the game, strictly because he can be outspaced by every hero in the game. If any hero wants to kill Junkrat, whether it be D.Va out of her mech, whether it be Tracer, who is actually supposedly supposed to be countered by Junkrat, whether it's Pharah, whether it's Soldier, whether it's fucking Bastion, every hero can kind of get spacing on Junkrat. Actually, Bastion's a little easier to kill because he's a stationary target. That's very easy for your grenades. Just wanted to throw that in there. But basically, almost every hero in the game has dominant spacing on Junkrat. It's like, oh, Reaper's close range spacing beats Junkrat's because his projectile is much harder to use and it's a lot less reliable. Like, granted, you could throw a mine in his face and kind of space on him, but again, it's not hard for Reaper to just go to ethereal form and let you go through your kit. It really isn't. Soldier 76 can shoot at him from a distance. Even Hanzo and Widowmaker have no trouble killing Junkrat. I even think I listed him as a counterable hero for the snipers. I believe I did. So, worst hero in the game regards to spacing ever. He's not good at, like, any range. Like, he's moderately good at ranges, but there just has to be so many conditions met for Junkrat to be able to be successful at any range. He's not self-sufficient at all. So, worst hero in the game in regards to spacing. Reason number 4. Heavy team reliant. He is heavily reliant on the team. If your team is not supporting you and helping you deal with your harassers, like, for example, if you're being harassed by Tracer, if you're being harassed by McCree, if anyone's in the neighborhood, like, literally, they can fuck up Junkrat. And if your teammates aren't helping you actively, it's very hard to 1v1 a lot of the times, unless the enemy is caught off guard by you and you just throw grenades in their face and they die. I mean, that's kind of a given, right? But he is heavily team reliant. He's completely useless unless the team, actually both teams honestly, are very grouped up. If the enemy team isn't grouped up, Junkrat is useless and you should play another hero immediately. There are so many conditions that make Junkrat a hero you shouldn't pick over another one. Like, I just don't see why you would when you could have consistency versus randomness. Like, especially in a competitive scene. Now, reason number 5. Almost every hero in Overwatch counters Junkrat. Almost all of them. And I kind of alluded to this in an earlier point, but let me go over it again, just for reiteration's sake. Everyone has better spacing than him. Everyone has more consistent DPS than him. I would rather use any other weapon than the Junkrat grenade launcher unless all the enemy teams lobbed up, which, let's be honest, is less and less frequent as the meta is kind of shifting towards higher skill play. It's just fucking unbearably hard to fucking deal with Junkrat. And you know what, fuck it, reason number 6. His skill cap is way too high. Junkrat is way too hard to use, and you would have to spend a lot of time to perfect this character, and honestly, why would you? Yeah, he's decent DPS, but you're not always going to be on a team that is, like, fully functional. Wouldn't you rather spend more time learning a hero like Tracer, or Widowmaker, or Hanzo, or Soldier 76, or literally anyone else who can, you know, dish out more high skill relative DPS, or fucking McCree even? Like, McCree's DPS can be obnoxiously high if you're good with him, so why would you spend the time learning to play Junkrat when he's not even half as useful? Like, again, this is my opinion. Feel free to disagree. This is just me. I've had enough of this fucking character and enough of this video. I do need to, yeah, I did say that there was only going to be 5 points, but fuck it. There's 6 now. I'm done, guys. But I wanted to make an announcement before I leave. I still think Junkrat deserves a guide. Given that he has a very unique playstyle, I still want to make a guide for him. However, I cannot do the gameplay. I'm sorry, I just can't. But if you guys are able to record, like if you have capture software and if you're a half-decent Junkrat or you have some half-decent games, by all means, let me know and we can get in contact with each other and you can send me those pieces of footage if you'd like. And you can even add some points in the email if you want me to cover specific things, like certain things that you would want me to talk about, like flanking or positioning, anything like that. I can definitely cover that for you. I still think Junkrat, again, deserves a guide, and if you guys could help me on that, I would be in your debt massively, because I want to make this guide. I really do. I've wanted to do it. I've put a month into this character, and it just didn't happen, and that's shitty, but I don't know, maybe there's some silver lining here. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you did, this is Violent Games. I'm going to be signing out. Bye-bye.